Hello. I have an experience to share with you that I feel is really relevant for 2020. Before we go ahead, I'll just read my disclaimer. I'm Pamela Cece. I've been a spiritual healer for many years. Anything I share comes from pure intent, personal experience, or taught to me by the divine. Never follow any suggestions or information without checking if it aligns with your value system, feels true in your gut, comes from a place of compassion and growth, and of course, always check with a health professional before taking on any suggestions or information. Blessings to you all. Okay, so we're going through some really challenging times, and a lot of us are faced with global fear as well as some personal fears. Yeah, I want to share an experience with you that hopefully will help you in some way. I've been very divinely guided to share it with you. Um, quite a few years ago, I went through an experience where I hadn't slept for a few weeks. And when I finally was getting sleep, it was an hour here, an hour there. So I knew I was going through spiritual change and shift, many changes. I did some research, uh, worked out some, dietary stuff to help with what food's good for, helping you sleep and all that jazz, and did some research and started walking a couple of times a day, just short walks. Of course, my mind and my ego didn't want to do this. It was like swearing at me, I'm tired, I want to rest, I just want to sleep. But the evidence was I wasn't. So I was spending time in nature and going for walks. This one day, I had a three-legged small poodle. We were going for a walk and I bumped into a lady that had a small little white fluffy dog too in the park. And so we stood chatting, and it was quite lovely. Um, Next thing you know, past a fence on the park, these two boxer dogs, huge boxer dogs, ran out into the park. And I thought, oh, okay. Well, clearly, if they're off the lead, they must be okay. And they started heading towards us. And I'm sort of looking past the fence, like, where's the person that's with them? No person. Next thing you know, these two boxer dogs are circling me, the lady, and our two dogs, circling, circling, circling. And at first, it was like, oh, okay. But I've got quite a gruff voice, and dogs normally listen to me, so I sort of, yelled and get away, sort of thing. And they just kept going. And so then I, sort of yelled a bit more, had my little white fluffy thing under my arm, my little dog. And I'm rah, 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 at these dogs. Nothing. Had no effect whatsoever. So I'm looking around and I see this really big long stick. So I bend down with my dog and grab the stick and I'm waving it around, shouting at these dogs, trying to deter them to go away. It was like I was waving fairy floss at them. Seriously. They just kept going. So I'm stepping forward more, waving this stick, rah, rah, rah. And so then they're just circling me and my dog. No. Started circling her, sorry, and left me and my dog away. And my body natural instinct was to keep walking. And then I felt my heart, and I'm like, no, I can't leave her behind alone with these two dogs. So I go back in with the stick. And then the dogs start just circling me and my dog, and she walks off. Just walks off. So by this stage, I'm feeling a bit fearful and stressed, and oh my God. And so I yell out to her, thanks a effing lot. I came back for you. Anyway, she was gone. So I'm still waving this stick, yelling at these dogs, trying to be as stern and as gruff as possible. Absolutely no effect. The circle's getting smaller because now it's just me and my dog. They are literally salivating. And then it dawned on me, this is really happening. This is, nothing I'm doing has any effect. And I remember having a thought, I need you, God, I need you now. And next thing you know, I've closed my eyes. I'm witnessing myself close my eyes and start praying. Now, the ego mind is like, why are you closing your eyes? There's dogs circling you. You can't just shut your eyes. You know, they could attack you, you know. It was this really witnessing experience, yeah? Anyway, long story short, I've closed my eyes and I've prayed and I've said to God, I really need your help and I need it now. I can't. I need you to bring me help. I no sooner finished praying, open up my eyes, and this guy on a Harley Davidson comes up the curb, up onto the park, starts heading towards us. And I thought the sound of the motorbike, because, you know, Harley Davidsons are quite chunky and loud, would scare them away. I thought, oh, cool, here we go. No, didn't deter them at all. Anyway, this guy, bless him, is trying to get the bike in between me and the dogs, but obviously being such a chunky bike, it was having little effect. And next thing I know, I witnessed myself close my eyes again, and I can hear my ego self going, what are you doing? Close my eyes again and said, thank you, God, and thank you, angels, for bringing me help. However, I think I need to be more. And I was in this calm, witnessing state. It was the most bizarre experience. And I opened up my eyes and looked around, and there was this other guy from the other side of the park, a young fella, probably 20. He was on one of those little tiny mini dirt bikes, and he's coming across the park. And so between Harley Davidson and this little motorbike, they're changing around, trying to create a gap in between me and these dogs. Anyway, finally, somehow they get this rhythm going together, even though one bike's slow and chunky and the other one's fast, you know. They managed to get this thing going. It was the most amazing thing to witness. It was like time had slowed down. I had completely just surrendered to God had to do it. There was nothing I could do, you know. Anyway, they managed to get this circle happening. And the guy on the Harley said, just go, just go. So I'm like, heading off, got the fluffy poodle on my arm, walking as fast as I can without running, if you get what I mean. And I'm calling out, thank you, thank you, thank you, you know, and they're like, go, go, go. This has stayed with me. And for some reason, it's really important I share it today. There are going to be circumstances in the coming time, in 2020, where we're going to experience things that are out of our control. And there'll be sometimes no choice but to go within your heart and call for help. Call on your divine team or God or universe or whatever it is that makes you feel aligned and connected and connecting to love and source. I even urge you guys to start experimenting and play, for want of a better word, with asking God, Bob, the universe, your angels, for signs that they're around you, and tell them what sort of sign you want to see. And bring the right people to you, to give you the right information, to help you with what we're going through in 2020. Remember as much as possible to connect within, really focus on gratefulness. I know a lot of stuff's going on and it seems too much to be true. But you fixating on negative or the dark or whatever you want to call it, the crisis, doesn't benefit you greatly. Send love and light to it, and ask the angelic teams to come in and support you and help you. You have free will. They can't come in and help you properly unless you're inviting them in. You're inviting the light into your life to help you. Find fun, playful ways to ask them to show you signs that they're around. And as often as possible, do gratefulness for the small things that we do have, the important things. And even though you can't see how this situation may improve, but you know what I mean, you don't know, right? Just keep praying, keep sending out the love and the light, not only to your family and loved ones, send it out to everyone being affected, but also those that we feel are responsible, the greedy, the abusive. Now, why would we send love and light to them? That sounds ridiculous. We do that to weaken them, dissolve them. We bring light into our own lives to give us the strength and the courage to stand back and see this from a higher perspective. What's the good things that are coming out of this pandemic? List them. Refocus. Choose what you can put your focus on, because what's going to happen is going to happen. And your experience and your internal world doesn't have to match that. What's the chaos that's going on? You are a part of the light. You are a part of the solution. And there's nothing more powerful than prayer, or if you don't feel comfortable with the term prayer, intention. Gratefulness regularly is just such a powerful tool to get through these times. Trying to see things from a higher perspective, the long-term picture. A lot of people believe the world's getting worse and worse and worse. No, actually, it's just been exposed. It's been this shit for a long time. There's been a lot of corruption, a lot of abuse for a very long time. And people are finally having the courage to step up and step out and expose this stuff. And, yes, there are some conspiracy theories, but there's also some truth out there. But choose what you're going to pay attention to. Choose what part you are going to play in this part of our journey. How are you going to be a support to those around you, loved ones and friends? What are you going to focus on? What are you going to choose to feel? And don't judge your thoughts and feelings. If they're running on rampant and they're doing fear and self-doubt, and just say, okay, you're trying to tell me insides, you're trying to tell me, or your programming is trying to tell me I've been triggered by fear. You're just trying to tell me you need my attention. Close your eyes, put your hand on your heart, and just keep saying, I love you no matter what. It's okay. I love you no matter what. I love you no matter what. Comfort that inner child in you that's having the fearful experience or the anxiety or the depression. Be a parent to yourself. You know, we've all had some interesting family experiences, and we've got to learn how to be a parent to ourselves. And doing visualizations is a really good tool to help do self-healing. I'm going to do some more videos on how to deal with anxiety and depression. I'm not doing things in any particular order. There's no order, there's no organisation. I just literally get on now, do live. So blessings to you all. Hope sharing my story with you helped you in some way. And I'm going to share some more with you soon. Blessings to all. Bye for now.